Alright, well, I've been paying attention to certain things, like, for instance, how bullshit school is. And I can double on that because I was just graduated high school a little more than a month ago. I don't look at it, but yeah, I'm 19 years old. I graduated high school just a month ago. And I saw this video called Don't Stay in School. And let's check it out. Preaching to the choir on that one. God, I remember going through all that same shit through when I was in high school. Why am I taking this class? It's not going to help me. Why am I taking this class? It's not going to be relevant to my job. Oh, you need it for real life. Says who? Says what individual person does I need this shit exactly? It's not going to be relevant to me when I go work. It's not going to be relevant to me for a specific job I want. Now, if I want a job in teaching, then yes, this specific class that I want to teach in is going to be good. If I want a job in working as a nuclear physicist, science, yeah, but why am I taking a class it's not relevant to my future? Why am I being forced to do something that I don't need? These are all the questions that are basically like, what's the point of it? Why are we starting a foreign language class in high school when our brains are already developed for shit we've already, like, for a lot of shit, like English? It's our first language, and then you decide that you want to throw Spanish or French at us in high school. It's not a smart choice. your best idea would be to use elementary school, when our brains are still developing. Because going into high school, we're already set in stone. It's going to be very, very hard for us to learn a language. Now, the school I was at only offered Spanish and French and German for 1 year. In fact, I had friends who took German their freshman year, but because they took it away sophomore year, they had to go take another different foreign language class, and that credit didn't carry over, so they had to retake another. Not only did they retake another foreign language, but they take it for another 2 years. A class that should have been finished our sophomore years, they didn't finish till their junior year, and that was kind of bullshit. But I knew they were going to take away Spanish because the area we lived in was very high in the Mexican population, so a lot of people spoke Spanish, so they had easy pickings from Spanish teachers. So I took the easy way out. I took Spanish, even though, me personally, I wanted to take Japanese. They had Chinese my 8th grade year, and they got rid of that just before that year ended, which was really stupid. It's like, you're getting rid of all of these opportunities right here. And it's probably because the school was on a very limited budget. For a year and a half, we went from a 5A school to a 4A school. And that school was very old. They're finally tearing it down and rebuilding it. Good for them. Not for them. I don't really care. But they were telling me all 4 years of high school that you're gonna need. You're like, why? It's like, I was asking them, why am I learning this? And they said, well, you're gonna use this regardless when you get in the real world. And my question is, when? Am I going to be using it when I'm 19 or 20 in college or at my job? Or will I not be using it again until a year and a half before I die, at like maybe between the ages of 60 and 100? And I agree with him on a lot of points. There's no point in staying in school if I'm not going to learn shit that helps me out in real life. And the mortgages and the taxes and all that stuff, that's a very good point. I don't even know all that. And I can bet that if he did graduate, I think he might have graduated high school. Like, he might have graduated like maybe 2 to 5 years ago. They didn't really learn that shit. And that thing about the parents are to blame, it's like, why are you blaming our parents? They're teaching us the best of their ability. I think the best bet would be, because I've noticed this, I dated a girl. If you're homeschooled, I see and feel that those people are a lot smarter than public school students, and even private school students. I went to a private school for a year and a half. But I feel like homeschool students are a lot smarter and more prepared and adjusted and ready for the real world, unlike the ones who were publicly taught. But yeah, do you think that it doesn't really matter? Should we have students just stay in school even if it's not really teaching them anything? What do you guys believe? Because I always thought that school was basically pointless. I knew basic English, I knew basic math, science, and I knew basic history. I'm pretty advanced in history, but there's just stuff like that math equation you did, like 3b to the square root of 3x squared divided by 2ab. Unless I'm going to be a fucking scientist, that's not really relevant to me. And it's even been shown that people who do have college degrees, if they weren't in the military or had a rich family or had scholarships, they're paying debt up the asshole. And there are tons of rich entrepreneurs who have gained a following, like Bill Gates with Windows, Mark Zuckerberg with Facebook, and I think Steve Jobs before he died. They were all college dropouts, and they started their own business, and they're rolling in dough. Like they didn't need a high education. They just needed to know an understanding of the human wants and human needs, and it was pretty self-explanatory. And yes, there are things out there that you need a degree for. If you want to be a doctor, you need a degree. You want to be an astronaut, you need a degree. But there are a lot of things out there. Like what I want to do, I don't really need a degree. But I am going to go to college because it'll help me out a little bit, especially because the college I'm going to, the administrators there said we don't really teach and lecture. We're basically there helping you out, getting ready for the real world because of what you want to do. And that's the Art Institute in Austin, Texas. But yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think it's really necessary to even go to school just to learn bullshit that we're never going to use? Or do you think that public and private educators should step up their game and actually focus on what's important in the real world? We don't need to learn about foreign history. Like, I don't care about Louis XIV and how he put France in debt. I don't care about Henry VIII and all his wives. I don't care about King Tut and how young he was as a king. I want to learn, how do I pay my taxes? How do I get a mortgage claim? How do I buy a house? How do I get out of this place how do I get out of all this shit without so much debt? How can I do all this stuff that's important to me as a human being, important to me as a person, and important that helps our country out? But yeah, tell me what you guys think. Like, comment, and subscribe.